In the first few lines of today's gospel reading, it sounds like Jesus is contradicting his own commandments. The one about loving your neighbor as you love yourself. Jesus is saying to us that we cannot be his disciple unless we hate our wife, mother, father, and children. At first look, this can strike us as if we want to be one of Jesus' disciples. We must set our sights on hating everyone. This year, being the year of hope, I was hoping it wasn't meant as it was written. This hope becomes just that for me, hope. A few weeks ago, I asked Father Mike if he would bless our marriage, since we're going to celebrate our 49th on September 4th. He agreed to do the blessing and asked when we wanted the blessing done. I said, well, I'm scheduled to do the 4 o'clock on September 6th. And he says, good, we'll do it then. Do you want to preach that night? I said, okay. When I got home that day, I looked at the readings. When I read the gospel, I stopped and thought, Deacon, what did you get yourself into? On the night when you're having your marriage blessed, you have to preach on having to hate your wife and family. Just not a good start to a blessed evening. But when we think about it for a while, we realize Jesus didn't really mean it the way at all. Jesus is not telling us to stop loving our wives, mothers, fathers, children, but to continue to love them as we have always loved them. What Jesus is telling us is not to let our love for others exceed our love for him and God. We must love all things less than him. To be a disciple of Jesus, we must be able we must be able to bear our own cross. To carry our cross means for us to break free of everything that keeps us from loving him. No matter whatever this may be, we cannot let it stand in the way of God's plan for our lives. To carry this cross means not to cross the will of God. Not the will of God in our lives, but rather use it to embrace the will of God. We see an example of this in the story of the builder. A builder had an idea to build a large tower. He dug right in and started the construction. But not having given it much thought, the project before it began, soon the material and the money ran out, and the tower was incomplete. If we don't embrace God's plan for our lives, our discipleship could end up the same way as the tower, incomplete. Giving in to our own bloated egos would cause this failure. So if we in our lives disciples to reach complete, or for discipleship to reach completion, we must continue to look towards God's love for us and the plan he has made for us out of his love for us. Remember, Jesus is not telling us or teaching us to hate anyone or anything. Jesus is teaching that the love we have for others should never supersede the love we have for him and God. If we continue to place God first in our lives, all the other stuff, like our relationships and actions, will fall into place. When we embrace God's love and plan for us, we will be able to better serve God in His kingdom. Our Catholic faith teaches us this. Father Rocky from Relevant Radio says this about our Catholic faith. If you learn it, you can live it. And if you live it, you will love it. And if you love it, you will never leave it. Trust God and love God and love His plan.